Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today, episode number 6 of my off-season preview series, this time focusing on the San Antonio Spurs. Really excited to get into this one. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe and comment what team you'd like to see next. Kind of out of teams that I personally really care to talk about, so give me your favorite team and I'll come up with some stuff to talk about. So, getting into this one, let's just get right into it. The Spurs are an incredibly interesting team this offseason for a variety of reasons. I think the biggest, obviously, being a certain slithery little snake named Kevin Durant. But obviously, last season was looking like they might have been a play-in team. Then Wemby goes down and it kind of falls apart from there. Now he's training with Buddhist monks in China, so I'd watch out if I was the league. They traded for De'Aaron Fox, but a lot of questions. A team that could go in so many directions. But let's just get right into this roster. Starting off, we got De'Aaron Fox, $37 million, 1 year left on his deal. I think people kind of forget they have De'Aaron Fox. Like, I was listening to Bill Simmons' podcast, and he was talking about them getting Giannis and KD. And I was like, they have De'Aaron. 1 year left on his deal, though, and they got the second overall pick. I should have put it on the little preview slide here, which, as we can see, we're up in the production value every day here. The unpaid interns they're hard at work, but De'Aaron is in an interesting position because they can extend him this offseason, probably August, I think. But are they gonna want to extend him is the question. And the reason I say that is they had the number 2 overall pick, which would probably be Dylan Harper. Now, we're going to talk about Dylan Harper in a minute here. But interesting. But I think his fit with Wemby is really good. I think De'Aaron's really good. Clear, top 25 guy. All-star caliber player. Just a really solid overall point guard. I bet much better than he's an all-star. He's really, really good. I think his rim pressure and his ability to score in the half court, be a clutch time killer, is going to be massive. Because as good as Wemby is, I mean, he hasn't played a lot, so having that guy, Devin Vassell, he'd be Devin Booker if he could stay healthy. I like Vassell. When he plays, he's great. Really cool, mid-range assassin type. Can shoot the 3 ball pretty well. He's a bigger guard. He's like 6. He's listed as 6'5", but he's a bigger guard. Just a good player. The issue has been he cannot stay healthy. He's played just 65 games or more twice in his career. And he just gets hurt a lot. And it's really tough for me to look at Vassell as this foundational piece for the future. I think San Antonio probably views him as that. I kind of don't. I like Vassell. I think he's solid, but I don't know, man. He gets hurt a lot, and he's very inconsistently available. But at the same time, if you can keep him, I try to keep him. And this next year is it's time. If it doesn't work out, you're done. But I do like Vassell. Got Harrison Barnes. I said he was better for winning than DeMar DeRozan. I still believe that. I love him. I think Harrison Barnes is really good. He's just a great, just solid player. Harrison Barnes, he's big, he's long, he shoots the 3 ball really, really well. What did he shoot last year? Yeah, 43%. He's an elite 3-point shooter. Has his little, middies. Just a solid, 12 points, 4 rebounds on above average efficiency. Or actually on really good efficiency. While playing solid defense. I think he's really solid. Only on a 1-year deal. Obviously, he's pretty old, but I would try to keep him. Got Keldon Johnson. He's whatever to me. He's salary. He's kind of like a player that on a tanking team, you're like, hey, this guy could be like an all-star one day. And then when it starts getting to winning time, you're like, I don't really want to play Keldon Johnson much. So I like him. He's fine. He's solid, but he's going to be someone who's going to be in most of the trades. We got Victor Wembanyama. Now, I think Victor's sensational. I think he's going to be a top 5 player next season. When I do my top, I'm not going to do a top 100. I just can't. It's so difficult. when I do my top 25, he is going to be top 5, more than likely. I just think Wemby is ridiculous. I think he's already a top 2 to 3 defensive player in basketball. Offensively, last year we saw a step up from him, aka he just shot the ball more. But I love Wemby. Now, my questions with him are simply like, hey, is he ready to be a number 1 option offensively? I don't think so. Like, he put up 24 points per game, but he had as many turnovers as assists. Was pretty inefficient, especially for a big man. But at the same time, like, did he play at all with Fox? Like, did he play a game with De'Aaron Fox? I'm not sure. You look at this offseason, though, they're probably going to look to get some more shot creators. So, I think Wemby's sensational. 2 years left on his deal at that very low number. And that's the big thing for me, is I think they can trade for a big contract, even if it's a bit of a bad one, or if there's question marks long term, because it's like, we don't have to worry about our salary for the next 2 seasons, because Wemby's going to be paid nothing. Next was Stephon Castle, won Rookie of the Year. I mean, someone had to win it. He's great, though. Great athlete, great defender. I just think he's kind of in that mold of a lot of these high-impact modern guards, right? We're seeing this build, this Christian Braun, Stephon Castle build, and it's the tweener guard wing, like 6'6", freaky athlete, great defender, that type of build, and that is Stephon Castle. I think he's like Christian Braun. He's awesome. Not a three-point shooter at all yet, but again, the Amen Thompson, Christian Braun type build, he's great. I love Stephon Castle, and I think he's going to be really important for them, and I think is going to start next season. I would start him over Devin Vassell easily. Next, we have Jeremy Sohan. He's fine. I like Sohan. I think he's a solid guy. I don't think he's really someone who I'm tied to long term. He just can't shoot. Only played 54 games last year. Only played 56 as a rookie. So health's a concern for me. He's fine. Like, he's good. You don't gotta trade him. He's a really good defender. But he just can't really space the floor at all. So, I wouldn't trade him, but I'm not too tied. And then we got Malachi Brandon, Blake Wesley, Julian Champagnie. I don't care. Only $147 million against the cap. They're $50 million under the first apron. They're not really in any danger of the aprons. They are going to have their full mid-level exception, non-taxpayer mid-level exception. They're going to have a lot of ways to get better this offseason. They're only at, I think, 10 players with roster spots. So there's a lot of room for them to get even better. I think that's very scary. There's already a team, I think, if Wemby would have stayed healthy, they would have contended for a play-in spot. Looking at their depth chart, I mean, outside of Lab, Fox, Castle, Vassell, Sohan, Wemby, I really wouldn't care, because, again, they have 10 players, and they're going to add a lot of guys. So I do think Castle should start no matter what. I think him and Fox as a backcourt is awesome, right? With Wemby as a rim protector, it's awesome. So let's get to the biggest questions. The first one is the KD trade. Now, we've heard this from a bunch of people, and even people saying, hey, KD is probably going to be a Celtic. I would be Spurs, sorry. I'm not going to say I'd be surprised if he's not a Spur, but it would be, I mean, it'd be kind of surprising. If I had to put Spurs versus Field, I would probably pick Spurs. But how aggressive are they going to be? Right, because as much as teams, and it can feel like you're just never going to, like, oh, we're so young and Wemby's only 22. One bad trade can derail an entire franchise. And at the same time, they don't have as many assets as you think. They traded a lot of their picks for De'Aaron Fox. I just wonder if if they really want to go after KD. Now, the thing is, they got 2 picks, early picks in this year's draft, and they have enough picks. I don't think KD's going to cost a lot. I do think they're going to be able to get him for kind of cheap, and it's not going to involve Castle or number 2. Number 2, how quickly do they want to get to contention? Probably could have written that a little bit better. But what I mean by this is, do they want to contend for a title next season? Contend for a title, but do they want to put themselves in position to contend for a title? Or are they willing to kind of, let's play this out, let's see what we got in Castle, let's see what we got in Wemby, and are they just going to kind of play it a little slow? I think it's interesting, because I don't really know, right? And this ties into Giannis. I don't think Giannis wants to leave. I don't think the Bucks want to trade Giannis. So I just don't think Giannis is going there. Now, going to contention does not mean I don't think they're going to spend their mid-level exception and they're not going to try to improve the roster. This is mainly like, are they going to want to trade for KD? Because I do think, I mean, adding KD, imagine a starting lineup of Fox, Castle, let's just say Barnes, KD, Wemby is unbelievable. That might be a top 2 starting lineup in the West. But your depth is still really questionable, and you're very young. And KD's on expiring, and he might ask for like a 2-year, $120 million contract. And all of a sudden, you don't win a title next season. You go into the year after that, and it's like, oh shit, we got to pay Wemby. Fox is going to want a big raise. And now we're like a second apron team, and then we're in trouble. Now, my thing with that is, I probably would just trade for KD, but yeah, move number 3, finding the backup center. It's a sneaky big need because I think Wemby, I mean, he's really, really good. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm worried about Wemby got hurt. I mean, he had a blood clot. It'd be different if it was, he had a foot problem. That'd be scary, but it's like a blood clot, he'll be fine. I do think they should look for a backup big man. Someone who can kind of fill that role of maybe a bit more of a bruiser, interior finisher type. That can kind of complement Wemby's skill set as just a dominant rim protector and kind of, but then offensively it's all the stuff with Wemby. But getting someone else, because the drop off in the last 2 years with Wemby on the court, the Spurs are like the best defense in the league. They're like a pretty good team. When he's off the court, they're like the worst defense in the league. So getting a backup big man that can kind of hold down the fort so you're not looking like Jokic. Number 4, finding experienced depth. This is a big one for me. Chris Paul is probably gone. And you look at their bench. Yeah, Fox. Outside of Fox, Barnes, and that's it. No one else on this team has played in a playoff game, let alone like a play-in game, I don't even think. Maybe Keldon did when they had DeJounte, but they have not played any playoff games. This is a very young and incredibly inexperienced team. And even De'Aaron has played in a playoff series. Harrison Barnes has crazy experience, but... So finding some depth that is super experienced, right? Bringing in like a Markieff Morris or something. Like bringing in Nickeil Alexander-Walker or some other more experienced guy, I think would be really smart. And then finally, Dylan Harper's fit. Now this is going to go into a trade I made. I've seen some reports. I saw 2 reports yesterday and today. The first one was Spurs not all the way in on drafting Dylan Harper at 2. That to me screams, we told some reporter to say that. And then today we saw the Sixers are willing to trade up to number 2. I'm reading the tea leaves. Is there some tea leaves there that suggest that maybe they don't want Dylan Harper, but maybe they just don't see him as that much better than like Ace Bailey or VJ Edgecombe, or are they kind of like in this situation of like, we have Fox, we have Castle, we don't need another guard. I think they could, and that would be really interesting to me. I think it makes some sense, because they could use some more assets, like especially if they trade, let's say trade for KD, and burn through their asset pool. And that could, like, introduce, like, Con Knuckle. But back to Dylan Harper himself. I think Dylan Harper is really solid. He's a pretty unique player. He's like a 6'6" Brunson in a lot of ways. I'm not just saying that because he's a lefty and a point guard, but you know, he's a great driver, gets to the cup at a ridiculous rate. I don't know a ton about him, but he is obviously a lot of people really like him. My question is, like, is he gonna even play? So you got Fox, you got Castle, you got Vassell. I don't know. I don't think they traded him for Katie, and I don't think they're gonna trade that pick outright for no other picks. But it is interesting. I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, they could go all in and say, we're gonna trade for Katie. We're going to trade back. We're going to then flip 3 for even more. Like, they could do some crazy stuff. Or they could just stick and pick Harper, don't trade for KD, sign Nikhil Alexander-Walker, sign some other veteran guys, and just be like, ah, that's good enough. Like, that could also happen. So, very interested and excited to see what they do. But let's get into the best part of the video every time, the trades. Got 5 trades. Trying to solve all of those question marks, so let's just get right into it. Alright, we are back with the first trade, and it is the Kevin Durant trade. I thought we'd start off hot. So here's what I have. So I have Kevin Durant for Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, the 14th pick, and a 2027 Atlanta first. Now here's my reasoning for this move. Number one, for the Suns, they get off $10 million in salary. They get pretty close to jumping under that second apron, which I think is going to be one of their big things. They get Devin Vassell, who's just like Devin Booker. Joking, of course. But pretty much like a Devin Booker guy. And, you know, I think Vassell is a good young player who can kind of, hey, this guy can be our young guy that we can build around. They get the 14th pick, another guy who they can start their rebuild pretty much, but still stay competitive. And the Spurs get KD. Now, what do I think KD brings? It's what KD is. He's the single most portable superstar in the NBA's history. I think he'd be amazing in San Antonio. Still a really good defender, an elite shooter and shot creator. Still probably a fringe top 10 guy. I think he's amazing still. And I think he gives them what they need, right? They need a kind of shot creator, someone who can just get buckets outside of Fox. Now, would this trade involve Vassell? I would almost have to think it would have to involve more picks. And Devin Vassell is not all that, in my opinion. Like, he's a cool medium volume shot creator. It's like, I'd rather just get Stephon Castle more minutes than worry about, oh, Vassell's going to stop us from getting Kevin Durant. Yeah, sure. There's some other frameworks that you could do here. I don't think Castle would be involved. I don't think the second pick is going to be involved. This might feel like not that much, but in my Suns video I tried to be like, I just don't see KD getting traded for all that much. So, yeah, I don't know. So, I like this trade for the Spurs. I think the Spurs should trade for KD. Because it's just not going to cost that much. And the contract is very scary. And he could blow up your franchise. I would go into it and be like, hey, we'll extend you, give you a 1+1 after this year. Like a 2-year, $120 million 1+1. And by the time Wemby's contract is up, KD's off the books, he's retired, off into the sunset, and we're good to go. So I would do this trade. I think it's a really good one for the Spurs. And then for the Suns again, I don't think you're getting that much for him. So getting the 14th pick, getting a future first, getting Devin Vassell, I think would be a good haul. So that's for the KD trade. Let's move on. All right, next trade up here, and as you guys can see, it is in fact a Giannis trade. I just kind of threw a Giannis trade on here, like whatever. I mean, I don't think it's going to get traded. This is the package I came up with: Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, Castle, two other firsts. And for people saying this is too much, no, this is how much it would cost to get Giannis. I feel that pretty confidently, that it would cost an arm and a leg for Giannis. He is a top 4 player in basketball. He's only 30. you absolutely do this trade if you're the Spurs. You send the farm for Giannis, but I don't think this trade is happening. So just thought I'd put it up here, for kind of like if the Spurs were gonna trade for like Giannis or like Luka or some shit. Here you go. Here's the trade. Just trade the absolute kitchen sink for him. But that's the Giannis trade. I don't have too much to say about this one. I just don't think Giannis is getting traded. Though I would say, like, it's a perfect fit for everyone involved, right? He's got the center that can shoot next to him. It would be a ring. Just straight up, they'd win a championship with Giannis at the 4. So that's the Giannis trade. Let's move on to some more realistic ones next. All right, next trade. And this is the first, like, non-superstar trade for them. And it is trying to find their backup center. So I have Daniel Gafford going to the Spurs. Mavericks getting Malachi Branham, 38th pick, and their pick swap back in 2030. And the Nets getting Jaden Hardy and Blake Wesley. My thinking for this one is simple. I think Daniel Gafford is probably going to get traded. Mavs need to get off money. They need to do a lot of things. I think it involves trading Gafford more than likely. Wrote a piece about this. Mavs would get their swap back so they can control their pick in 2030. They get the 38th pick. They get some salary. Nets get some salary. And for the Spurs, I think Daniel Gafford's an amazing backup big man. He's kind of like the perfect backup center because he's better than like most backup centers. And he can kind of physically overwhelm a lot of backup centers. And he's a good change-up from Wemby. Right? Like Wemby, 5 out, maybe the best shooting big man in the league. Where then you get Gafford, who's a short, kind of squatty big man, really jumpy, really vertical, good rim protector, good rebounder, can kind of bring that physical disposition, and I think would allow you to play even some double big lineups where you have Wemby and Gafford out there. If you were like playing the Timberwolves and you just wanted to have a bunch of size out there. So I do like this trade. And for the Mavericks, they need to get off money. This would get them so much cap flexibility to get their pick swap back. Nets are just the landfill of the NBA this offseason. Every fan base, and I think every single one of these offseason previews, I've involved a trade where the Nets just eat some salary. I like this one for the Spurs. I have one more backup center trade. I just think it makes sense for them to try to get a backup center. Because at the wing, like they have Barnes, they got Sohan, they got Johnson, they got Vassell. The Castle's kind of a wing. Like, they got good wing depth. They could use like one more guy. Dude, they don't have a backup big man, period. Now, could they be like a Clint Capella team? Probably. Could they be a Brook Lopez team? Probably. I just think it kind of depends on what they want to do. How much do they want to go all in? This would be, hey, we're going all in. Let's go get a guy like Gafford. So, this is the Gafford trade. Let's move on to another one. Next up here, we got another guy who's been in a couple of these videos, and that is Goga Bitadze. I got the Spurs getting Goga, Magic get Malachi Branham, 3 second-round picks. I think Goga's great as well. He's a good rim protector, great rebounder, short roll upside. Come on, I remember the Google side days. But I really like Goga. He's just a solid backup big. Again, as a starter, I'm a little iffy on him, but playing 18 to 20 minutes is perfect, in my opinion. And he's not going to cost a whole lot. It's Malachi Branham, some second-round picks. He's on a very cheap contract for the next 2 seasons. So, again, lines up with Wemby. So, by the time Wemby is eligible for his rookie supermax, we kind of know what we're going to have to do. I don't know why I wouldn't do this. Like, this kind of just seems like a perfect trade for me. For the Magic, they get off some money. They get some seconds. He's their third-string center. For the Spurs, like, why not do this? Like, you have, like, I think they have, like, they have so many second-round picks. When I was in Fanspo, it's just they have massive collection of these seconds. So I like this move. I think they should definitely look to upgrade back up big. Again, the other guys, Capella, Lopez, I've talked about. I tried to do a Naz Reid thing, but the sign-in trades, I just don't understand sign-in trades. Like, I I do a lot of trades. Fanspo, to me, or not Fanspo, sign-in trades are just so difficult to do. I mean, they're just so annoying to do sign-in trades. So, I tried to do a Nasrid one. I had no idea how to get it to work. I could have probably spent like 20 minutes like figuring out some like 5-team, 18 players in the deal, but I decided against it. Nasrid would be sick. Like Nasrid Wimby, that's like an insane duo. But again, I think any big man they should be going after pretty heavily. Nick Claxton, I thought about doing Claxton, but I was like, are you really tying up that much money into a backup center? Like, you could play him and Wimby, but I think in Goga, Gafford, Capella, like some sort of guy who's just solid, not gonna blow your socks off, not gonna do anything crazy, just be like fine, is what they should look at getting for their backup center next season. And finally, let's go on to a draft day. Alright, so in the preview, I talked about how I'd been reading some of the tea leaves when it came to them maybe not liking Castle, and the Sixers wanted to trade up, so I thought this one was pretty easy. So the Spurs would get number 3, a Clippers first in 2028, and then the swap rights to the Clippers pick in 2029. Is this a lot? Yes. But the Spurs would have all the leverage in this situation. The Spurs can be like, okay, we'll just draft Dylan Harper. Who cares? The Sixers, I don't know why they do this, but they're interested in doing it. I think this is, if they are not 100% sold on Dylan Harper, and they look at it and say, hey, Ace Bailey or VJ Edgecombe, like, maybe they do, maybe they have already traded for KD at this point, and the KD trade happens pre-draft. So, like, okay, we have KD already, so we're going a little bit more all-in. We'd rather have maybe, like, Con Knuppel or something. So, like, someone who, not Dylan Harper isn't ready, but someone who's going to impact us more this year. And we get this Clippers pick, we get the swap rights, so now we can kind of do some stuff. I think this would be a pretty good deal for them. Now, the thing with it is, I'm reading tea leaves, it could just all be lies. There's a good chance it is. I also think that it's just, I would just take Harper. I think he's really good. Again, him and Fox don't really work together. But it's just like Fox, again, Fox can stay around for 2 years, and when Wimby's contract hits, boom, Fox is gone, Durant is gone, and it's Dylan Harper, and it's Victor Wembanyama, and it's Stephon Castle. Right? So I think it gives them more flexibility if they get Harper. But they do risk some of the, like, hey, we're on a 2-timeline thing now. And that's where I get kind of scared. There's some other draft day trades, like the Pelicans or Nets maybe want to straight up, like, all the way up to 2. That's one if they just don't like the draft outside of Flag. I thought about doing them trading up for Flag. I don't think it would happen, but it would be interesting to see. Overall, though, I think they're gonna stick and pick it too. But there's some stuff that I'm reading into that seem kind of interesting. So we'll see. But that's gonna do it for this video. This was a fun one to record and talk about. Spurs are just such an interesting team. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, give me a subscribe. Comment anything. I don't care if you comment, but preferably what team you'd like to see me do next. Gonna continue getting through these. Hopefully we get some trade stuff, because I'll be dropping any big trade happens. I'll react to it. I'll give my thoughts. I'm maybe streaming the draft. We'll see. I'm definitely going to stream free agency, though. So when free agency hits, I'll be streaming, talking about everything that comes through the desk. But that's going to do it for this one, and I will see you guys all next time.